Hey there folks, this is GreenXI, welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 65. In last episode, Keiichi found his murder weapon and hid it behind a vehicle in the school, which is going to be incredible. But before we carry on with that chapter 10, if I remember right, somebody informed me in the comments that we missed a tip back in episode 61. So we're going to do that first. I think it's going to be a short one. I had a look round at which one it was, and it is article. So let's have a little look. Article 2, Definition of Child Abuse. The term child abuse means the following acts committed by a custodian, meaning a person who exercises parental authority, the uncle, a guardian of a minor or other person who is currently engaged in the custody of a child. Hereinafter, the same shall apply. Against the child, meaning a person who is under 18 years of age. Hereinafter, the same shall apply. Assault a child in a manner that will cause or is likely to cause external injury on the body of a child. Bruises, we've seen that with Satoko. Engage in indecency against the child or cause the child to engage in indecency. Buying tobacco and stuff which is illegal for a child, does that count? Substantially reduce the amount of food for the child or abandon and neglect the child for a long time period in a manner that may interfere with normal development of the child mentally or physically or otherwise materially fail to perform the duty of a custodian. He doesn't do anything around the house, so that probably comes under that. Speak or behave in a manner that would be significantly traumatic to the child. He's been threatening her and everything, we know it. Article 3, Prohibition of Child Abuse. No person shall abuse a child. Yay! Law number, Act number 82 of 2000. Bloody hell. Authored by the Minister of Health and Welfare. Nice. So now we know that Satoko's being abused. Everyone knows. We got the official definitions. So we got 6 more tips to find. We'll be getting some at the end of this chapter as well, won't we? So, yeah. Let's go back and actually load up the main game. I always found it weird how the C was red. Why do you reckon that is? Do you think it's meant to symbolise something? Or is it just... you know, just artistic. Disposing of a corpse. That's the one. Disposing of the corpse. The ultimate way not to create a beginning was to not let the corpse be found. Yep. It was even more important than killing him. Thinking on it vaguely, the first thing that came to mind was the swamp. Yeah, where all the demons come out of, or something like that. I can't quite remember the lore behind it. Onikafuchi, the dreadful, bottomless swamp, revered even now, that appeared in the legends of Onikafuchi village. Yes, a swamp called Onikafuchi was here first, and then the village took its name to become Onikafuchi village. In other words, this swamp was the origin of Onikafuchi village. No one, no matter who it was, would float back to the surface of this bottomless swamp. Everyone would be swallowed down into the land of the demons below the earth. That was how the stories went. If I was trying to copy Oyashiro-sama's curse, then I felt that theory demanded I discard the remains and the weapon into the swamp. But they may have said it's bottomless, but I didn't actually know. And people say large creatures like humans produce a lot of gas when they rot, granting a lot of buoyancy. Oh, they might come back to the top. It was why using fairly heavy objects to hold them down didn't work. Come to think of it, with the curse the year before last, Rika-chan's mother drowned herself in this swamp. And the criminal behind the dismemberment that went missing the year of the first curse too. It was rumoured he'd tried to discard the body in the swamp and accidentally drowned in it. I never heard of the corpse coming back up or finding it. Then, shouldn't I choose to discard the corpse there too? I could discard the weapon there. And then, for example, if her uncle came out on a motorcycle and attacked, it would be convenient to get rid of the bike too. I knew that Satoko's uncle generally used a motorcycle for transportation. But as for the corpse... After a lot of worrying, I decided not to discard the corpse in the swamp. The drowning, suicide, and accident were both rumours. Nobody knew if they had actually happened. There were no lack of false rumours about the drowning suicide anyway, and it was possible the murderer hadn't drowned there and was still on the run. That meant no one had ever confirmed the corpse being dropped in there and then not coming back up. Then what would I do with the body? I thought it might be interesting to go with the first incident, cut him to pieces and hide him. But the preparation and work for dismembering a human body would be difficult given the amount of time I had. With that out of the question, I arrived at the conclusion. To go with the more orthodox method of burying the body. Then where would I bury it? Was a question related to where I would kill him. Of course, I wanted to keep my time in proximity to the body at a minimum. With that in mind, I would want to dig the hole to dump the body in beforehand, and to make the location of the act and the hole close together. The choice of where to plan the crime, that I needed to be absolutely careful and thorough with. It had to be somewhere nobody would witness it, and a place with hiding places for a sneak attack. I could dig a hole for the body right there. I'd go over the possibilities in my head of the various destinations her uncle would head to from Satoko's house. I imagined a map of the area in my head, and then I found a place that fulfilled those conditions so easily it was almost unbelievable. Where? A bit of a back road that went through the woods. I didn't think her uncle would go deeper into the mountains of Higurashi on a whim. If he was going somewhere, he'd pass through these woods first. And nobody used this back way, unless they had something to do at Satoko's house or one or two other places. This path was fantastically ideal, as few people used it. Sounds good. I would wait for him in these woods, and it sounds like there's some water running as well, so I could cover some of the screams. Maybe. Maybe not enough, but maybe. Would an ambush actually be possible? I went into the trees and tried really hiding myself in a few places. It was extremely quiet. My senses could be sharpened here to their maximum amount. I didn't know when he'd come, but I'd wait right here for Sato's uncle. I actually had some trouble coming to that decision. The question arose of whether I should somehow call the man out. Was there a risk I'd be taking by luring him here? That man made Satoko do all the shopping and errands. He seldom left on his own business. He wouldn't leave unless I worked out a plan to force him to, would he? That was the question. Tomorrow was the Higurashi festival. Would he go out for the festival, or would he stay inside? If he stayed inside, how would I drag him out to his house? That's right. Wouldn't he make Satoko go to the festival? Satoko would go to the festival. Meanwhile, I would call the man. This is the Okinamaya police station. We have the young lady from your house. Could you come and pick her up immediately? And he'd have to go through the back road, and then he'd get him. It didn't even have to be the police. This is the clinic. The young lady from your house has been injured. Please come and pick her up. Yes, that will work too. If I claimed to be the police or the hospital, told him to come in and hung up on him, he'd rush there trying to figure out what was going on, wouldn't he? And just the other day, he was visited by a probation officer. He wouldn't suddenly grumble about having to get his niece and not go. It would look like child neglect. The man had no skills useful around the house. Satoko, his slave, was an essential part of his daily life. Exactly. Conclusion? If he went out to the festival, I would attack him here on his way there or back. If he didn't, I would lure him out by phone. If luring him out by phone was my first step, I needed to be sure Satoko would go to the festival, leaving the house. It would be convenient if I could make Mion take Satoko to the festival. She said her aunt was a district welfare officer. In other words, an ally to the probation officer. If I somehow incited Mion to take Satoko to the festival with her, well, being who she was, she'd use that fact and get her there. Satoko should just take a break and have fun at the festival with everyone, while Keiichi did all the hard work. She should have a good time, reminisce on our former peaceful days, and when she went home, everything would be over. Yeah, that would be the best outcome. With that decided, I needed to dig a hole somewhere in the woods to hide the body, so it wouldn't stand out, so it wouldn't be found. Someplace nobody would see me while I was completely exposed as I buried the corpse. I'd wanted it to be close to the scene of the crime, but it naturally grew farther away. Deep in the bosom of the Black Forest. And that in Germany? The Black Forest. The voices of the Higurashi were the only sounds here, informing me that people shouldn't indiscreetly set foot in this place. Digging a hole, huh? Digging a hole with so many tree roots crawling around the ground would be far more difficult than I'd envisioned. I snuck a gardening spade out here in my bag, but that wouldn't be enough. Still, as I looked into various approaches, I managed to find a place I could dig into. Tomorrow, I'd bring a real shovel from the storeroom at home. I'd manage with that. I wondered how big a hole would have to be to fit a human all the way into it. I'd probably have to dig pretty deep down, but if I was slipshod in these efforts, I'd let a beginning occur. I've never heard that word slipshod before. I absolutely couldn't allow that. Use any amount of time you need to. I mustn't spare any effort to utterly erase him. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was a little past 6. This was probably all I was going to get done here for today. I really wanted to dig the hole in advance tonight, even if it got dark out, but Mom would be upset if I stayed out that late. It wouldn't be good to come off as suspicious to my parents. I needed to go back home and give Mion a call soon. I needed to get her to promise Satoko to take her by tonight. After that, today would be done. Done. Would it be though? Was this really everything I could do to prepare right now? I decided where to kill him. I decided how to kill him. I decided, of course, how to dispose of the body. I didn't decide on a time, but I would play that by ear. I didn't have a way to decide that. Was that really all? Was this really alright? Have I overlooked anything? Would this really go how I planned? After all this, worries started welling up one after another. I can imagine they would. You'd be paranoid as shit. It was only natural I'd be anxious. This would be the first and last big job of my lifetime. My afterlife? Where the hell did that come from? I could not allow failure, and I had no experience, as this was my first time. That's good to know, Keiichi. I didn't have the know-how, the knack, so it was only natural I'd be anxious. The dark clouds of unease told me doing nothing would be the easiest way. A truly pathetic suggestion this late in the game. Have you forgotten how miserable Satoko looked? From the outside, it may have looked like I was resolute, but deep in my heart, my knees were shaking loudly. I've never actually won a single fight to my satisfaction. Could I really kill someone? I may have been planning an ambush, but my enemy was large and far older than me. He had a scary face and he looked like he was well accustomed to fighting, but he got a baseball bat, a metal baseball bat. It should be fine, right? Could I have... All the pieces before and after the murder were perfectly planned. But was the actual murder the most important part? What unsettled me the most? All my preparations, all my perfectly concealed machinations. If I didn't successfully murder him, they amounted to nothing. Damn it. After coming this far, you're pathetic, Keiichi Maibara. If you start to have these kinds of second thoughts, your ulterior motive will be obvious. Let's go home. Go home and calm your mind. Tomorrow will be a juncture in your life, the likes of which graduation, employment, marriage, and childbirth couldn't hold a candle to. A day of murder, to kill someone, for someone else's sake. With that day behind us, we would take it back again. Those mild, spring-like days we never thought would stop. Those safe, peaceful times. I pedalled my bike hard to get back home. I felt somehow unsteady, like my body and soul weren't in alignment. A subtle shift between where the tips of my hands and feet really were and where I felt them to be. My vision was a little distant and narrow, as if the great barrier I risked my future life on had nothing to do with me. An unreal sensation. How could I put it? Everything was so far away. Fine. Feel your unease permeate you, Keiichi Maibara. If that will turn your timidity into meticulousness and allow you to act with greater caution, then it's actually an important emotion to feel. Yeah, okay. It's like nerves when you go onto a stage or something. It's important to get nerves to make you feel like you have to beat them to be better. This feeling I had never went away that night. Oh, he's still nervous, as he would be. Oh, here we go. It was the first time I'd be calling Mion's house. I searched for her in the phone book the school gave me, then dialed a short phone number, the kind unique to remote places. It was around dinner time. She would probably be home. But just as I started to think nobody would respond, someone finally picked up the receiver. Hello, this is Sonozaki. Yeah, let's get Mion to take Satoko then, is it? Oh, I'm sorry for calling so late at night. Is this Mion? Huh? May I ask who's calling? It's me, Keiichi. Ah, oh, Kei-chan. It's pretty late. What's up? She seemed to be in a weirdly good mood, and she drew her syllables out. Right. It's the night before tomorrow's festival, so she's probably with her family having some drinks. Sorry for the late call. Do you have time right now? Sure. What is it? It's about Satoko. I heard her draw in a small breath on the other end. Satoko, she's in a pretty bad spot. I hope she's okay. The scent of sake had completely disappeared from her voice. She can't be okay. You saw it too, didn't you? What she was like? She was completely worn out from all the abuse. We failed her all this time, and now she's become like that. We didn't fail her. Everyone tried their hardest to help her. Nuh-uh. But we didn't come up with anything. We couldn't save her. In the end, we couldn't do anything about it, and now she's become like that. You know, I feel like the build-up was actually done a bit better in the anime, where it showed a lot more different attempts at getting to the child welfare office and everything, where they actually went there, and I think they had boards and stuff. Or it might be a later arc, but I'm pretty sure it's to do with Satoko and everything. And in this one, they sort of rushed to it. They tried to teach her and they phoned and everything, but that was about as far as it went. And now she's become like that. Although I do prefer this arc in a visual novel in general. It feels less It feels less dragged out, which is strange because this game, the other two arcs have been more dragged out, like too much, in my opinion. Anyway, I guess you're right. All I did was watch after all. So, well, at least... Couldn't we at least let her have fun for one night? Huh? Let her have fun? She's been so battered lately, you understand. That's why. I want you to take her to the Watanagashi Festival tomorrow. I don't mind. But why? Why? You just said why. I want to give her a breather at least for the festival night, you know? Even if it's just one night. If she can get away from her evil uncle, then I think she'll be happy, even if it's only for a little while. Yes, but why? Why? Why what? I was having a little difficulty understanding what Mion was asking me. Why, well, I mean, why don't you bring her, Kei-chan? Why do you need to ask me to do it? Mion was persistent about odd things. No, maybe it'd be better to say that she was sharp. I actually have something to do tomorrow. I can't make it to the festival, so I wanted you to take Satoko there for me. Something to do? It's nothing major. I'll probably finish quickly, but I might not be able to meet up with you all tomorrow. Hey Mion, could I leave Satoko to you just for tomorrow night? Mion took a long time to give a reply. I got the feeling that Mion had been acting weird for a while now. She's figuring something out. Like she was flustered by emotions or something. No. Huh? Was that a sob? Mion? Are you crying? I said no, I don't want to. I don't want you to push this out into someone like me. I'm not trying to push anything onto you. It's just for tomorrow night. That was a lie. What? Mion, what was she talking about? Saying it's just for the night to Watanagashi. And then it was forever. Liar. Oh, she's been weird. But I guess we're even, huh? I couldn't keep the promise I made with you. I left her alone all this time. I had no idea what to say to that. Mion was clearly now talking to someone other than me. I didn't know who. All I could do was listen to her in a daze. You never came back after that, and now you called me again to push her onto me. You're so unfair. Hey, you're... Satoshi-kun, aren't you? Satoshi? What are you going on about, woman? Mion? What are you talking about? When I said her name, whatever spell was on Mion was released. Ah! I'm sorry. It's nothing. It's just that I got a phone call a lot like this one you're making now, a long time ago. Was it from Satoshi? Before he ran away. Mion didn't answer. All I could hear was sobs coming through the receiver. Sorry. I think I'm still a little tipsy. I got all weirdly emotional. Sorry, I probably scared you. I had no idea how it happened, but I was pretty sure that last year on this very day, Satoshi had called Mion and told her to bring Satoko to the festival. Weird. That's just weird. And when she asked why he needed her to do it, he replied the same way I just did. Satoshi didn't go to the festival, did he? Yeah. He said he had something to do and couldn't make it. And he told me to take Satoko there in his place. At the time, Satoshi said it too, didn't he? Did he leave Satoko to you? Yeah. He did. Just for tomorrow night. The way you said it was just like how he did. I just got a little upset, caught up in a memory and all. I didn't expect this. Satoshi had given her the exact same phone call 1 year ago today. Mion kept going after that. That he was lying. That he told her it would only be for the night of the festival. I get it. A few days later, Satoshi, he disappeared. Disappeared might have been a rather vague way to put it. Whether he ran away or not, Satoshi left, abandoning Satoko. Yes. He didn't transfer or run away from home. He disappeared. And then, an idea far more indistinct than even fog crossed my mind. Satoshi made exactly the same phone call as me last year. Why would Satoshi make the exact same call? If in the truest sense he really made the exact same phone call as I am right now, then the incident where their aunt was beaten to death. That's... Could Satoshi have killed the aunt? Was Satoshi... Huh? What was that? Last year, Satoko had been constantly abused by her uncle's wife, their aunt, too. Her aunt abused her the most, and on that night, in the name of Oyashiro-sama's curse, she was taken from this world. If I thought about that, everything made perfect sense, didn't it? Last year, Satoko's aunt was beaten to death, wasn't she? Would it be impossible for Satoshi to have? No, but that would mean... But then Satoshi, he was a coward who abandoned Satoko and ran away, wasn't he? How could Satoshi resolve himself to kill a person to save Satoko? It was unthinkable. I actually considered that as well, though it would be mean to Satoshi. A few days later, he disappeared, on Satoko's birthday. When I first heard it, I flew into a rage. What a cruel day to have run away on. But it's not the truth. But Now that I thought about it like this, the story changed completely. Satoshi was protecting his sister more than anything. Satoshi had probably been even less calm than I was now. He was her big brother, related by blood, watching his little sister be abused day in and day out. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep calm. He went mad and killed her because of all that. And that was why the corpse of their aunt, beaten to death, was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in his anger and hadn't hidden the corpse. He permitted a beginning to occur. If the police conducted a full-blown investigation, it was easy to imagine they wouldn't take long to pin down Satoshi as the culprit. Satoshi, he wished for a return to peaceful days with Satoko, and though he achieved it for a time, he had been steadily driven into a corner. And then he wanted to at least hold out until Satoko's birthday, but finally they nailed him. At the time, Satoshi had been carrying the savings he'd amassed to buy Satoko a giant stuffed animal for a birthday present. He would buy the stuffed animal as a gift and then get caught. Or he could use the money and disappear. That was the choice he had been forced to make. And he decided not to make Satoko the sister of a murderer. If that was the case, then it must have been an unspeakably bitter decision. All that money he'd saved wanting to see Satoko happy, he had to use it to make her sad. And he used the savings, and disappeared to Tokyo if the rumours were true. Was that how Satoshi disappeared? I don't know. That Oishi guy seems to think that way though. Oishi, had he been slowly driven into a corner by that repulsive man's pig-headed pursuit? The circumstantial evidence is all here, but I think your deduction is wrong. They caught some crazy drug addict somewhere in the prefecture, and he apparently turned himself in for the crime. That was right. The deviant had confessed, and the incident was solved. They said he really was just a crazy person, and that he had no ties to Hinamizawa, and no relationship with Satoshi, of course. I mean, I have a pretty hard time believing the guy would lie in Satoshi's place. You couldn't just arbitrarily decide like that. You never know where or how humans are tied together. If that guy took the blame, then it was the perfect crime. Of course, if it was really a perfect crime, there would have been no reason for Satoshi to vanish. Plus, I don't think Satoshi had the kind of money to run away. That day he withdrew all his savings. No matter who I tell this to, nobody believes me, but... that stuffed animal he said he was buying for Satoko? It was gone from the display. Sold. It must have been Satoshi. Wait a minute, so he did buy the toy. If he didn't use the money to flee and bought the stuffed animal instead, he would have gone back to Satoko, wouldn't he? It seems unbelievable he'd buy it and then disappear without having given it to her. Yeah. So now I don't know what happened. It would be one thing if he had the money, but if he used all his savings on it, he'd be totally broke. You can't live a life on the run without money in this world. Nope. I didn't get it. After all that, I was understanding Satoshi less and less. The two of us fell silent. I couldn't remember how we even got on this topic. Sorry. I think we got off topic. Satoko, right? Don't worry. I actually already invited her. Huh? You serious? Ah, yeah, they're all going. When everyone went to the shrine to prepare for the festival, we started talking about getting Satoko to the festival itself. So then I used the phone at the assembly hall to invite her. Her uncle was acting distant and didn't seem to care at all, but in any case, we got the okay from him. We decided to all meet up and got together tomorrow. You okay with that? Why was the uncle feeling distant? That's weird. Satoshi? Stupid, I'm not Satoshi. I was a little relieved. I hadn't needed to make the phone call. Satoko had already been invited to the festival. And not in a way that smelled of blood. A way to leave her uncle alone to create time for me to kill him. They purely wanted Satoko to enjoy herself. So they invited her. In the end, it was the same, but I was happy for that slight difference. Sorry, I guess I didn't need to call then. First yesterday, now today. Sorry for, saying such weird things. Just forget about it. No, I'm the one who should apologise. Losing it like that isn't like me. I'm really sorry. We apologised to each other for a little bit. Alright, I'll be going now. Good night. What did you have to do? As if interrupting our parting words, Mion struck straight where it hurt. Or was it like, with Satoshi? Well, you can't say. Stupid. I keep telling you, I'm not Satoshi. Yeah. Yeah, I know that. I deflected her with a response that wasn't really an answer. Mion didn't hound me anymore after that. Alright, this time for real. Good night. I don't know why you're giving me the same phone call as Satoshi-kun did, but... yeah, never mind. I'm sorry. Good night. I'm hanging up. Click. Okay, she's definitely suspicious, but... maybe we're okay. Satoshi Hojo. Just who are you? I scorned you as a coward who ran away, abandoning his sister. I always thought you didn't have the right to call yourself her Nini. But now I didn't know what to think. Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 4th year, their aunt's death and Satoshi's disappearance, and now me, trying to carry out Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 5th. Oddly enough, what I was going to do overlapped perfectly with Satoshi the day before the curse. No, that wasn't all. If we start back from Satoko being abused, then I'd been overlapping with Satoshi for days already. When I talked to Mion before, she asked me if I was Satoshi. Wait, I just realised something. If Satoshi had killed the aunt with the metal baseball bat, which I'm assuming, it haven't said it was a baseball bat, or if he actually did it, but it haven't said if it was a baseball bat, but how did the bat get back to his locker and then for Keiichi to pick it back up? I don't know. If that was the first impression a third party like Mion got, then it was probably true. Then, as Satoshi had accomplished, I would succeed in the murder. But that was the extent to which we overlapped. I was far calmer than Satoshi, and more calculating. I could actually grow calmer, the more enthusiastic I became. Well, he thinks he's calmer. We don't know about Satoshi, how he was at the time, do we? That's why I wouldn't follow in Satoshi's footsteps. I would snip him cleanly out of the world, and then get our peaceful life back. Maybe Satoshi has been with me ever since I chose to use Satoshi's bat as my weapon. No, maybe even longer than that. When I decided I'd be her Nini, maybe Satoshi had been residing within me then too. Satoshi, were you really a coward? Or are you a true Nini even now, the kind worthy of Satoko's love? I'd never met him, never spoken to him, didn't even know his face, and yet I felt so connected to him. I'd never felt that way before. They are very similar people, so, you know. Oh, and there we go. So he's in this part, he figured out the murder location, not quite the time, but the general day. He had the day before, but still. Where he's going to bury it, or what to get rid of it, and he's got Satoko out of the way with the rest of the club. Possessed. Possessed by Satoko? Satoshi, even? Maybe. New tips. How many have we got? Just the one? So we've still got another 5 to get after this. For the attention of those on the housewife slaughter incident case. Oh, it's about the aunt. Okay. July 1982. Okanamaya Police Station, 1st Investigative Division. Chief Takasuki. Something Prefecture, Police Headquarters for the eradication of drug-related crime. Drug-related? Oh yeah, it was the druggie who apparently killed her, wasn't it? Who said he killed her. Shishibone Branch Head. Regarding incident, designated as undercover investigation. This message is to inform you that a section of the testimony records of an incident under this police headquarters jurisdiction has been found that is thought to be related to the undercover investigation of the incident in question, Okanamaya Police Station X, Hinamazawa Village, housewife slaughter incident. During investigation of suspect, who was arrested for possession of illegal drugs, there was testimony related to the crime in question. As part of it, we learned that the criminal had information only he could have known. Therefore, this record of testimony, duplicate attached, will be provided to you. If this testimonial is to be believed, then there is an extremely high chance that suspect, was the culprit behind the incident in question, so they really do believe that the druggie did it. In addition, the head investigator on the case received this report and inquired as to the incident with the Okanamaya Police Station, but the responsible party at Okanamaya Station, who responded to the designated undercover investigation, announced by the Prefectural Police's General Director on July the 1st, 1982, Osamu Fusukani, B112, misunderstood and did not explain the incident's existence to the head investigator on the case properly. Because of this, the case's head investigator was not aware of the importance of the testimony as it related to the case in question, and as a result, was negligent when combing the scene. We apologize for having left it in the dark until now. In addition, there is a postscript stating that suspect died while in confinement yesterday on then. Okay, so the druggie died, and they didn't look at the crime scene properly, which is probably one way that Satoshi got away with it. If he did in fact do it, we don't know for certainty. It seems suspicious, doesn't it? But he bought the beer, but for some reason didn't give it to Satoko. There's something still going on that we don't know about, right? Okay, so this has been GreenyXI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching the rest of this chapter. I'll see you again in a bit. Is it this one? Yeah, I'll see you again in a bit. Oh, that was chapter 9. I thought it was 10. Oh, whatever. Oh my god, I'll get out. I'll see you again in a bit when we go for chapter 10. And it's going to be the day of Watanagashi, probably. It's all going to happen. Thanks for watching again, folks. See you again in a bit.